Good morning, James. This is a quick overview of the Masonic Cemetery, which is similar to yours but much larger. 6.6 acres in South Austin, dates back to 1859. Here's Circle S Road here. Here's the driveway coming in. You can see we have a circular drive here. We've got another future road that's going to come back off this way that you'll see in a little bit. But this is our oldest section down in here. Section 1, Section 2 over this way. Sections 3 and 4 here. Section 5 on the other side of this road here. This is our new burial area right in here. And then Section 6 over here. I used Google Earth, and they have an outlining tool, and then drew up the sections like this, and then started putting in the lots. You'll see there's some red squares. Those are the ones that have concrete in them. Yellow is areas that don't have concrete in them. Now, none of ours were ever mapped to this extreme. And so we started just doing the best we can. This is section 1 here. You can see that in this one here, it's such a big area. And I'm using sections. You're going to use blocks, I think, is how you have yours set up. So I've got it at 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. And then from there, I went through and used the aerial photograph to start putting in red squares for the concreted areas, and then yellow squares for things that were not concreted. And just started going through and trying to figure out what space I had. I have areas over here that, as far as I know, we're not using, or over in here, but this is just the level of trying to figure it out. Yours is going to be much simpler than this. And again, this is just going through all the different areas. Section 2, and then with the numbers in. Section 3. So here's 3 and 4. These are pretty much concreted in spaces here, but some of them, there's no concrete around them. And some of them, I don't know if they've even got any remains left in them. And then we have a large area up in here that we feel pretty confident that is not being used. That's section 4. This is section 4 here. This is section 5. This is our newer area that we had professionally surveyed and laid out, so we can fill in this big field here. Okay, this is the map that one of the brothers in my lodge, who was the surveyor, surveyed it, and then another brother who used to teach CAD drawings at ACC put together for us. And this is on file with the county. So it's the Masonic Cemetery when it was established, although the first burial was 1859. And it talks about the 3 different tracts of land and when they were purchased. So looking at this, you can see here's our roadway system here. That's here. This road is closed off. You can see this is the future road coming in back up this way. And then more importantly, you can see how we laid out our section 5 here. So down here at the bottom of the screen is the curved in lots. And then this is area A, area B here, area C here, and then area D to screen right. Hard to see on this blow up, but I do have a paper map, and then I've created some Excel files that I use on a day-to-day basis. Our cemetery is much older than yours, and so we had to go back and try to recreate some of the burial records in order to figure out what we had, and then try to do things as we come along. Let me move this down a little bit so we can see all the things. And so I've started, based on the Find a Grave, creating a list like this for you by last name, first name, We have an affiliation if they're veterans or things like that. Born, I've added on this one sex and age because I was interested on those things. And then when the person died. Now there's month, day, and year, so I can break it down further than this. Do I have a photo of it? Which section, what lot number it is? Footstone, and then there's a thing for notes here. So this is all of alphabetically. And the nice thing about this, I can sort it by alphabet. I can sort it by death date. I can sort it by section and lot number. Any way I like it. I keep, some things are red. If it doesn't make any sense and I need to go back, I can make myself some notes. The nice thing about this format is I can share it with other members in the lodge, and they have a copy. If I'm on vacation or something, then they have that. This is how we do the new section here. When we platted out section 5, then we had section A, and then there's section B. When I use this format, green means that it's the lot's been used. The person just passed away. There's the date of death. Gray is it's reserved. And we have notes of when it was sold and when it was paid. You're going to have your records, your deeds, and your other things that would be in another folder. But this gives you a quick at-the-glance look at it. So if somebody's looking for a space, then I can show them, I can look at this and see. Now what I did do is I created a map. Here's my maps of section A. This is 5A here. Correlates to the list I just showed you before. This gives you a bird's eye view. Here's a 10-foot space and 5-foot wide. Going inside of Excel, I can create something that's to scale. Again, green is used. Gray has been sold. It's reserved. The little black lines here are going to be headstones. This is a double headstone. This is a single headstone. I've got a thing for a temporary marker as well as cremains. And so it looks like this. But if I were to print this out, this is the way it looks on a piece of paper. So now you have something that you can take into the field with you or send to a funeral home. You just print this out, send them a PDF, and it shows you that this particular lot. And then I would come in and make notes like this is Mr. Kessner. And so if they're trying to use this space in here, I can actually make that a yellow. And then the people who do the digging know exactly where to go. And so you can see that this is section 5B. This is where we start having a lot of space used up in here. I've got some temporary markers out this way. 5C. And then again, you have these spaces in here. If somebody's interested in purchasing a space, I can send them this map and they can get an idea of who their neighbors might be or other things. And then this is just single graves down here in section D. And again, the map's going to show that north is up this way. And so anybody can be oriented. So again, I've popped back down to my list here that as the chairman of the cemetery, if somebody, if a funeral home calls me and said, hey, listen, we've got a family here and they give me a name, I can just come up here and I can search this document and find the name, realize which section or what lot space they have, and do they have a space available. And again, sometimes people bought several of these at one time, but they haven't identified who owns the space. Again, here's another one here. Don, Roy has his here. And so this is just a simple way of doing some tracking of who is where and who owns what. More importantly, who has a right to be buried there. When I get a call from a funeral home, this is 2 documents that I fax over to the funeral home because they're the ones working with the family. And so they fill out the name of the decedent, the date of birth, date of death, the date we're going to receive the remains at the cemetery. Cemeterians do not record death date. They record when they received the care of the remains, be it the body or the cremated remains. That's how cemeterians keep records. And so we have to have all this, and this becomes part of the file for that individual or for that space. The owner's name, according to our records, the person who is making the arrangements, is it the spouse, the child, or the other ones? And then here's just an authorization. I'm going to send you a copy of this, and we can certainly make it fit your site, your location. And then here's just the information that we give the families about the history of the site, the availability of plots, the one-time administration fee, and some of the other things that we have. We also provide them a set of rules and regulations at the time of purchase and at the time of need.